So this is a canning collaboration about what I will can and what I will not can in the future. So Linda's Pantry started this collaboration, and there are some other channels involved. Suttons Daze, More to Life, Wilhelms Kitchen, Heather the Kneady Homesteader, and they have kindly invited other people to jump in. So I am jumping in. Let's get right into it. Okay, as you see, butter. Butter is not an approved method, but it works for me. And there are a number of very useful videos on YouTube about canning butter. So my advice is, if you're going to can butter, make sure you have allowed yourself a long time. The greater portion of a day. It requires a lot of shaking. So it can set the way this is set. What I would also advise you to do is avoid canning pint jars, because the amount of shaking you have to do, it's much easier. At least for me, it was much easier to shake a half pint jar than it was a pint jar, because you have to shake it multiple times throughout the process. So anyway, I will definitely be canning butter again. It is so useful to have on hand. If you want to make something spontaneous, you don't have to worry about defrosting. It is amazing. So let's turn this around. Here are some of the jams I've made. This is grape jelly. That's very basic. I probably won't be doing that again. But, for someone who's new to making jam, it's a great way to start. This is red currant jam. I will definitely be canning that again. It is so delicious. I did that recently, and I wish I did it years ago. It is, I just love it. And here is some raspberry jam. I will definitely can this again. I've also canned Wilhelms Kitchen's award-winning pineapple jam. It is very delicious. So here are some of the meats and broths I've canned. Let's start with the chicken breast. I will definitely be canning this again. This is very useful to have. The amount of recipes you can use it in are limitless. And moving on to ground beef. I need to can some more. I actually had difficulty finding this in my pantry, so I need to do more soon. Chicken legs. I probably could have fit one more chicken leg in this pint-and-a-half jar. I will definitely be canning chicken legs again. And just to let you know, this is the Canadian version of the pint-and-a-half jar. Now, I know in the US they're getting rid of it, but I see this in abundance in our stores here in Canada. So, perhaps Bernardin will follow suit. I mean, I know it's all the same company, but they're everywhere here. So, but they came out later in Canada. So anyway, so for your information, I'll just do a close-up. That is what the jar looks like. That is really pretty, isn't it? So moving right along to bacon. There. I will definitely be canning bacon again. This is absolutely delicious. It adds such depth of flavor to recipes. So moving on to my broths. I have turkey broth over here. I have chicken broth and beef broth. The beef broth I did in the slow cooker. The turkey broth, I can't remember what I did it. Actually, you know what? That turkey broth my mother gave to me, so I just took it home and processed it. That's all. But I wanted to mention something about the chicken broth. When I did this chicken broth, I did it in both Instant Pot and slow cooker. And in the end, after it was refrigerated, I noticed that the bone broth, the chicken bone broth that I processed in the Instant Pot was more gelatinous than the chicken bone broth that I processed or did in the slow cooker. So anyway, that's just food for thought. I will be canning bone broth again. Most definitely. All three of these, useful. Very, very useful. From, soups, stews, to just drinking it. Here's a selection of some of the beans I've canned. I'm going to start with what I won't be canning again. And that is the black beans. I don't use them often enough to warrant the amount of time it takes to process the beans. I just, I use them in combination with chickpeas for hummus, but that is basically it. So I will not be canning black beans again. Navy beans. I will definitely be canning the navy beans again. They are so useful. I use them in so many different dishes. I've even used them in dips. Same for the white kidney beans. I use them just like I would use the navy beans. Chili beans. That is my last jar. I do need to do more chili beans really soon. These are a staple in our household. What I would use the chili beans for, or how I would eat them, is I would put cheese on top, microwave it. Absolutely delicious as something quick to eat when you come home from work. Absolutely delicious. So I do have a video on those actually. Now these are fava beans. I will add the fava beans into a stew, or I will make a Portuguese dish called favas, which I learned from one of my neighbors that I lived close to years and years ago, with tomato sauce, hot peppers, and other seasonings. Absolutely delicious. And of course, chickpeas. Most definitely I will be canning them again. I will use my chickpeas in hummus. I will use them in a curry. Absolutely delicious. So moving along to the vegetables and such, I know tomatoes, technically fruit, but anyway, I always jar up tomato sauce every year, and I've run out, and I have a freezer full of tomatoes. So when I get an opportunity, that is the first thing I'm going to can next. I always have those, and I'm going to have a lot of jars this year because I harvested a lot of tomatoes. So this is here, starting with this. This is my Mrs. Wages salsa. I typically make salsa from a package and tinned tomatoes. It's not sold in Canada, so anytime I cross the border, I pick it up. Anyway, I will be doing that again in the future. I love it. Corn. I actually jar up frozen corn, and for me, the No Name brand is actually the best brand for me, I find. I have jarred up in the past name brand frozen corn. Too much starch, cloudy water. This is perfect. And as you see, I add pepper flakes, so I will definitely be canning up that again. However, I probably will make one change, and that change will be to use a 1/2 pint jar, because I just did a video on Three Sisters soup, and I used 1/3 a jar. This is too much. And anytime this is used in my household, there's always leftover in the fridge. So that is an excellent argument for using a 1/2 pint jar for corn. Green beans, definitely. This is a staple. I will definitely be doing this again. Whether I use it in a Thai green curry, I use it in a soup, a stew, or just on the plate drained. Awesome. It is a staple in my household. Now, here we go. Carrots. These were purple carrots, and these were just regular carrots I bought on special. I grew these carrots, and these carrots I purchased. I don't recommend canning the purple carrots. As you see, it's not very attractive. And really, it's not about how it looks. I realize that. It's about how it tastes. But definitely, I will not be canning carrots again. It's just, I much prefer to dehydrate carrots. That is just more useful for my needs. Now, some of the things you don't see here, as for vegetables, are sweet potatoes. I've canned sweet potatoes before. I probably won't be doing that again. I've canned cabbage. I probably won't be doing that again either. I prefer fermentation for cabbage. So, definitely my staples for vegetables are the corn and the beans.